All right, so continuing on with our time management hacks. In this one, I want to share with you 5 ideas that are going to help you in making your time most efficient and in not being overwhelmed. Okay, so the first one is a time log. So I'm going to share this with you. At least once a quarter, ideally more often than that, once a month would be even better. I want to recommend that you keep a time log like this. I mean, this is obviously, you can keep this on a piece of paper, you can put it on a spreadsheet, you can put it in a notebook. There's probably an app for this, for that matter. What I want you to do is just like write down, let's just take today. So it's a Wednesday, January 8th, and I'm starting my day at when did I get in here today? I don't know, 8 o'clock, I think. And I'm ending my day late today because I'm going to a networking meeting, so we'll call it 8 p.m. So okay, but that's not what we're doing. We're just doing the first task. So to 8:10, check emails. This is after I've gotten ready and everything. And post to social. Okay. And then same date, maybe 8:10 to 8:30, record video for next week's reels or something, and just keep going like that. And then start the next day. You can color code the rows if you want, whatever. But do this for at least 5 days in a row. Ideally 10 was even better, so that you go through a weekend as well. And no judgment, no like categories, no thoughts, unless you just want to write some notes in there, waste of time or whatever, right? But if you got caught in a rabbit hole, you were looking for something online and it took you 30 minutes to find it, you want to put that on there, and what it was that you were looking for. Because then when you finish that, set it aside the next day on day 11, set aside an hour to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. And to really look at, did you follow your CEO schedule? Were you anywhere close? Did you do your DMO every day, or at least every work day? Where did you waste time? And why? Is there a way to correct some of those mistakes? And we'll get into that in the second tip here, as far as how to remove some of the fires that you might have had to put out. So there are basically three activities, or three labels that you want to put on each activity. Maybe it's four. Do more. Just put a plus sign if that was like a sales call, and you, instead of 1 a day, you want to have 3 a day or something. Can you automate it? Put an A for automate. In other words, is there some sort of software that you might be able to use to do that task for you, or use ChatGPT or AI? Thirdly is delegate, the D. Could you delegate it to someone else, or hire someone that could handle that for you, or outsource it to a service? And then fourth is eliminate. So do more, automate, delegate, or eliminate. Because if you're going to eliminate, how are you going to do that? How are you going to keep from going down that rabbit hole again? How are you going to keep from wasting the time in the ways that you did it? And the more you start critically looking at how you use your time, you'll be amazed at how you can improve your time management. I know my first business coach talked about a physician client that he worked with, and he forced the doctor to get everything off of his schedule except for what only he could do, the medical tasks that only he could do. And the guy 10x'd his income in a year, mostly by delegating, but first, of course, by identifying what are those things. And so you want to be looking at what you're actually doing and ask yourself, is it a CEO level task? If, filling out that spreadsheet or that form to apply for the summit or whatever it might be, if that is not CEO level activity and a virtual assistant could do it for you, then you want to start really setting the goal to hire that virtual assistant soon, so that they can be doing the $30 an hour tasks while you're doing the $300 an hour tasks. You immediately start making more money and having more time. The second tip has to do with Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Hopefully you've read that book. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. Because it is a classic, and there are many of the habits, the 7 habits of highly effective people, that we want to focus on. But I'm going to focus first on the time management aspect, which is his 4-quadrant system. And you might be familiar with this already, but it's a good reminder for all of us. So urgent, not urgent, important, not important. These are your time wasters over here. They're not important and they're not urgent. You're just doing them to blow time. And, hopefully as a business owner, you're not doing too much of that. Here, you're spending time on things that seem important. That seem urgent and in the moment, but they're really not important. You're managing crises. You're trying to, people please. You're feeling victimized. There's interruptions. People just got a minute, right? That famous one, etc. Those we want to minimize. We want to also minimize the fire, the putting out fires, the crises, because those pull us away from whatever we had planned proactively, don't they? And so this is where our focus needs to be most. And there are examples of in the book of things like, if you need to delegate something in your business and, it's not, the person that's going to do it comes in with a certain skill level, but they still need to know your unique way of operating and your expectations on turnaround and how you sort your routine email, for example. Let's say you wanted them to handle your routine email and only let you see the ones that only you can answer. Then you would need to spend some proactive time with that person, having them first see how you do it and then have them do it so that you watch them and so on. But then whenever you're out of the office, whenever you're traveling, whenever you're speaking, whenever you're on vacation or just taking a spa day, you know that those things are handled. They're in good hands. Same thing with creating systems. If you recognize that every 2 weeks something happens and something breaks that could be fixed with software or AI, take the time to either contract with someone, find the right contractor, contract with someone to handle it, create a system around it so that there is preventive stuff going on and not just fire extinguishing and so on. So it's the things that you spend time on. They don't seem urgent right now, but by having a system or a person or some method by which to have that taken care of once and for all, you minimize these. And the red lights and fire engines aren't going off as often. So summarize this by saying, for number 2, focus on important but not urgent tasks, creating systems, and delegating what you can, spending time training and building relationships with people that work with you so that you're truly building a culture and not just having order takers working for you, because that doesn't work out long term. Okay. Number 3 is to use something we call power hours. I actually don't remember where I first read about this, but it's a powerful strategy, no pun intended, where what you do is you designate the time of the day when you have the most energy. If you're a morning person, that'll be maybe first thing. If you're a night owl, maybe it's 9 p.m. And you designate an hour. You assign a project or an aspect of a project to that hour. And for 45 to 50 minutes, you do nothing but that project. That can be preparing your copy for next week's posts. It can be doing your research and batching your reels for the week. But whatever it is, writing a chapter of your book. That's how I wrote my first book. Every morning, 6 a.m., 1 power hour before I went downtown to my office. And after 6 months, the book was finished, working from an outline. So why I say 45 to 50 minutes is when you stop and the timer goes off. And by the way, during this power hour, no email, no phone calls, no knocks on the door. You're busy. You're undisturbable, right? I have a little thing from a hotel, I think it was, that, do not disturb sign that I hang on my door when I'm doing these. And so then you want to get up, get a glass of water, go outside, whatever, take, move your body in a different way. And you're going to have some trailing thoughts. Be sure to capture those on a, audio note on your phone or something, and then move on to what's next. But that gives you a slight break, and it also gives you a way to capture those other ideas that are still flowing through. If you could arrange to have 3 to 5 power hours a week, you'll be amazed, because they tell us multitasking doesn't work. That makes you 40% less productive. This is one way of making sure that at least in some portion of the day, you're totally focused on one thing. Okay. Number 4, throughout your day, as you notice on the CEO schedule, you want to group like tasks. So it isn't just about the marketing versus the operations versus the finance versus the client work, although that's an example of it. But even on my task list that I use on a daily basis, I have all of the people I need to email in one section of the list. I have all of the things I need to do online in one section of the list. I have all of the phone calls I need to make. So that the idea is, when I start making phone calls, that's all I'm doing. I'm making phone calls, making phone calls, making phone calls. Because if I make a phone call, do an email, write a piece of copy, come back and do another phone call, it'll take me 5 times as long, because there's a transition time between tasks when you use different parts of your brain. They've proven that in research. So in fact, one of the best books on this, it's a little hard to find, but I really like it, is The Way We Work Isn't Working by Tony, I want to say Shea, that may or may not be right. But The Way We Work Isn't Working is the name of the book. And it gets into all different kinds of productivity studies that you'll find fascinating if you're looking to be more productive. So group like tasks, do them together, and then take a break and shift gears to go to the next task type. Okay. Number 5 is to take frequent breaks and move your body every day. Okay. That means, it might mean you have to set a timer, that every hour, every 90 minutes, that you get up, you move around, you go outside. I have my dog, so she helps me to take those breaks when I need to, and to take her outside and whatnot. Just try this. Just take my word for it to begin with. If you think, well, I'm so busy, I can't take a break, I got this project, I've got this deadline, try doing it with a 5-minute break even at each hour, and notice how you feel at the end of the day. Then the next day, just work all the way through and don't take any breaks, and see how you feel at the end of the day. You'll have more energy on that first day at the end of the day than you did on the other one. And you'll probably get more done, frankly, because you'll be in a more resourceful state. Okay, so track your time and analyze where it's going so that you can improve it, and you can either do more, automate, systematize, or eliminate. Sorry, say that again. Do more, automate, delegate, or eliminate. Secondly, focus on important but not urgent tasks. Thirdly, have at least 3 to 5 power hours per week where you focus just on one thing, a piece of a big project, or a particular, something that'll take 45 to 50 minutes. Group your like tasks and take frequent breaks and move your body every day. Those are keys to productivity and success. And I hope that you will not only write these down, but that you will remember them and come back to them and remind yourself of them a month from now and 2 months from now, when perhaps they've gotten out of sight and out of mind.